the game. You don't play to just play it. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm for you. Can't wait. Let's go.
Up, everybody, welcome to another edition of Sideline to Sideline. I am the NFL genius, Gene Walzak, and to my left, I have the Prince of Production for Sports Empire Network. I got the King, Kyle Edwards. How you feeling tonight, Kyle?
I'm good. Another week, another chance to talk football with you guys. Can't wait to get into it.
We got a barn burner tonight, and we have your team on the prime time stage. The New England Patriots and Bailey Zappi.
Bailey, the Western Kentucky Hilltopper.
I'm excited, man. Bailey Zappi. I mean, this is, you guys, you don't need NyQuil tonight. Nobody needs sleeping medication tonight. You have Thursday night football. You got to be a real degenerate to either bet on or watch this game if you're not a fan of each team. And I am a degenerate, so I will go over my parlay of the night.
The total's 30.5.
That's crazy.
I got some unders in this one. Mentioning the total, my man THEE, Godfrey, my brother from another, my taking a deep friend, the Godfrey. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Football season's in full thrust. I mean, we're wrapping it up. It's getting a lot of divisional games, a lot of rivalry games. You know, I guess this Patriots-Steelers game they always have on the schedule kind of backfired in their face this year. But, you know, hey, 30.5, man, that's might be XFL game might be more entertaining than this one. So
I will say this. I did hit on my bingo card. We got an early Godfrey sexual innuendo. We wanted to see how fast it was.
What was the sexual innuendo?
I had the first minute. I'm not telling you. You're going to do it again, so I'm just going to keep. You said they're going to thrust into this game.
Oh,
So I always have it on my bingo card. I'm always ready for it. A little D Godfrey action.
full thrust in the NFL season, I think is what I said. Yeah.
Full thrust. All right, so we got a ton of things to talk about tonight, but we do have to recap what happened last week. Were there any big games last week? I don't know. I don't know. Kyle, was there any big games last week in the NFL? The Chiefs Packers, right?
I mean, all intents and purposes, that's an important game. But yeah, there was another game that was pretty important.
Oh, I don't know. What was the other game that was pretty important? The Panthers played. Was it the Panthers? The Saints played the Lions. That's got to be it.
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously, Eagles, Niners, of course.
Wait, that was last week?
Yeah.
I got to get into that real quick. And we talked about a little bit on Birds Deep, and we will talk about it a little bit tonight because we do our sideline to sideline. We cover all NFL. And we got to give the 49ers their trophy. They have won the regular season Super Bowl. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They could put that right on their trophy case, and they can hang it from the rafters. Congratulations, 49ers. Your Super Bowl has won. By the way, I think it completely proves their claim correct that the Philadelphia Eagles should have never made the Super Bowl if Purdy didn't get hurt. The 49ers are just a better football team, guys.
I mean, I'm sure their fans are telling themselves that. I mean, look, the game was a game the Niners had to win for their own, ego, psyche, all that. They needed to know that they could compete with the Eagles. For the Eagles, they've kind of been there. It's just another week for them. Yes, it was a bad loss, but they have their eyes on a bigger prize. So they could handle a loss like last week more than the Niners could. If the Niners had lost the same fashion, I mean, we would have serious questions about them and would wonder if they could ever do it. So hopefully we get a playoff matchup and, they can say all the same things again and see if they truly are up there with the Eagles.
I gotta be honest with you, Kyle. Gotta be honest.
Okay.
The Philadelphia Eagles got absolutely demolished on Sunday.
Yeah.
And, when I looked at the standings, I was just like, man, we dropped down to the number 4 seed in Stephen A's power rankings. So that was obviously something that was bad. We dropped down. Listen, if we're being honest, David Carr has already said that the Philadelphia Eagles need to make a change to starting quarterback to Marcus Mariota. That happened. How does that man have a job? We are sitting here putting out good content between Sideline to Sideline, Wire to Wire, Birds Deep, the morning show, and this idiot gets to go on TV and say Marcus Mariota should start at quarterback over Jalen Hurts. Are we out of our freaking mind?
Yeah, that's definitely a wild opinion.
Yeah, it was a thirsty take, that's for sure. Thirsty.
I'm thirsty. Drinking my coffee. Oh, hold on, guys. A little cheap plug. Drinking my Sports Empire Network mug coffee. But we got a lot to get into. We got a lot else to get into. I got to congratulate the 49ers. Right now, they're the best team in football. I don't think anybody can argue that. They're complete on both sides of the ball. From running back to wide receiver to their MVP quarterback, y'all can take that take and go take it somewhere because Brock Purdy right now is the MVP of the league. Period.
For this week.
He is the MVP of the league the whole season right now.
We'll see how that plays out.
It might not play out, but if you had to pick an MVP today, who are you picking? And you can't pick Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill. Because
we're going strictly quarterback.
Yeah, because that's all they give it to. Godfrey.
I think McCaffrey's got a really good chance this year.
Maybe. We'll see. I doubt it.
I mean, is Brock Purdy that good without Christian McCaffrey?
It's Brock. Here's your choices, right? I'll give you a multiple choice question. You have 5, A, B, C, D, or E. I even give you an F. You got Brock Purdy, Rain Dakota Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, or Tua Tagovailoa. You get to pick only one. Who is the MVP of football right now?
Man, I'll go Brock Purdy.
What's the answer? That's the correct answer.
It changes. The reason why I say it changes week to week. Listen, good quarterback, great team. They have a lot of strengths to them. I hear people make excuses for teams all the time. When they went on a 3-game losing streak, I heard multiple excuses for the kid. And when I see
Debo Samuel, no Trent Williams.
Yeah.
They had to play with injuries. I get it. Every team in the NFL's got to play with them. So they made a lot of excuses for him, but right now, he's the MVP of the league. Kyle, who's the MVP of the league right now?
I mean, it's hard not to pick the quarterback of the best team. So you would go Purdy. I mean, I might throw Tua out there because of what we saw from him last year.
If I was a sports writer, I would vote for Christian McCaffrey. And
I probably would too.
And the reason why
I use him offensive player of the year vote. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
I'll give you the reason why. Do I think Brock Purdy's playing good quarterback? Yes. Am I impressed by a 5-yard throw to Debo Samuel that takes it to the house? I'm not.
I was prepared for that. I'm tired of that argument too. Guys, you're calling me the biggest Brock Purdy hater last year, and I'm admitting I'm wrong. I was prepared for that.
Yeah, but it's
what percentage of Brock Purdy's yards are yards after catch? I know. I did the research.
How much?
48.5%.
What's the average?
48.6%.
Okay.
Oh, I got another one for you. Last year, Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. He's a dink and dunker, right? Check down Charlie.
Well, last year he had to be.
51.3% of his yards were after the catch. And here's another stat a lot of people might not have picked up on. There's been 4 times in NFL history where a quarterback has led the league in air yards per attempt and completion percentage. Brock Purdy is one of those. He's the 5th. The other 4 won the MVP. So I'm tired of the dink and dunk talk too. It's not accurate. The guy's playing good football. Guys, I lost money when this idiot lost to Iowa, and he was on Iowa State with Breece Hall, and I hated him for a year and a half. And I literally couldn't do it. After I watched him dissect the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1, I'm like, I give up. I'm wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. And I admitted my wrong, and I apologized at the altar of Brock.
The altar
and
of Brock.
Listen, he's a good quarterback. You know who else didn't look great coming out in the NFL? Thomas Patrick Brady.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
I just know there's a couple of fan bases that would not be happy if Purdy were to win MVP.
So here, I kind of hope he does, because I hope the Niners get hamstrung by salary cap when he holds out because he's not going to be taking 7th-round money if he wins the MVP. I don't care. Your agent could be dead on the ground, and they'll be like, "Yeah, it's time for a new contract, my guy." So the thing is I'm sticking to what I said last year, and I remember, Gene, I was, messing with you about that take often. I believe you got quite a few texts from Brock Purdy last year, but it's the same to me. I was also saying last year the reason why I thought he could be successful is because of Kyle Shanahan's system and putting other quarterbacks in his system and be successful. Not to this level, but that's what Kyle Shanahan thinks himself. That's why you hear the Steve Young comparison for Sam Darnold.
Is Matt Ryan a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback?
I'm asking you. Will he be a Hall of Fame quarterback?
It's a tough one. I mean, I think he's borderline.
He's the only other quarterback that succeeded to this level in Kyle Shanahan's system. All the other ones haven't. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't. The number 3 overall pick. Trey Lance didn't. All those backup quarterbacks. Nick Mullins, remember him? They didn't. None of them else have succeeded like this in the Kyle Shanahan system. So stop excuses for it. He's playing good football. I'm tired of the excuses.
Yeah, he's playing good football, but this dude, I don't buy that he's a juggernaut. Like, he's beatable. Brian Flores exposed it. And, I watched him make those throws. I watched a game in Cincinnati. I mean, we were talking about that. And, with the MVP talk, it's such a week-to-week award. You see the odds flip up and down. Even to have, Dak Prescott's doing well. But
Dak Prescott's 100% second for MVP. Sure. I feel like Eagles fans don't want to admit that the 2 rivals to their team are MVP candidates. And I'm sorry, I'm here to bring.
I don't think Jalen's MVP either.
We throw Nick Hurtado's comment up. Love Nick, by the way. Hope Nico's listen also. What's happening? He's a good quarterback, but I think Godfrey is trying to say he's surrounded with a lot of talent. Therefore, he isn't impressed.
Yeah, I'm not impressed on certain things because I want to see what's going to happen when he's not, and we have seen that. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes has
him for the product of his system.
Yeah, well, listen, if Patrick Mahomes has 3 good weeks, we'll be talking about how Patrick Mahomes made a comeback for the MVP. I'm telling you right now, you'll see it. Guarantee
I don't think statistically he can catch Purdy.
Is it always?
I think it'd be pretty hard for him to catch him.
Listen,
I think the question would be, if you put Trey Lance under center now, would he have the same success as Purdy?
No.
Because yes, you could say you're not impressed by Purdy, but any system needs the right guy in it. And right now, it just seems like Purdy is a really good fit for Shanahan's system for the pieces around him.
He's not even a fit, but he's the fit, Kyle.
Well, exactly. But I'm saying, like, I can't take that away from Purdy because that just shows he's executing the game plan really well. And that's probably why Lance is no longer there. Because Lance didn't show, or he wasn't healthy enough to show.
Yeah, he didn't really get a lot. Lance didn't really get a lot of opportunity. He got 4 games.
Jory, I love you. This is perfect. At the same time, do we not get sick and tired of seeing these quarterbacks being set up to fail? Purdy went to the perfect situation. Now we're questioning his talent. She is dead on. We constantly talk about how coaches and quarterbacks should be married to each other, and that's how listen, I'm going to be very honest with you. I think if Justin Fields was in the same situation Brock Purdy was in, he'd be an MVP candidate, and the 49ers would be this great. I believe that.
And so do you think Justin Fields has more overall talent than the kid?
Yes. That
Okay.
doesn't mean
So
that
wouldn't you
Brock
agree
Purdy's not
that
the MVP.
wouldn't you agree that I'm not saying that, but wouldn't you agree that if Justin Fields is in a Kyle Shanahan system, it would be bonkers? I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I agree.
there's a difference between a Ferrari and a Ford. Both can be good cars. All right. Like, I think that you look at, and I have a Ford. I have a
Matt
Mustang.
Ryan won an MVP before. Cam Newton won an MVP before. You don't have to be a legendary quarterback throughout your career
True.
to be a most valuable player for 1 year. Carson Wentz finished second in MVP odds and he missed the last 4 games of his season.
Who won the MVP last year? So do you think Mahomes should have won the MVP or Jalen last year? And because of the injury, I guess it's
Jalen should have won the MVP last year.
right.
I
So
think Jalen was
sometimes
more valuable.
guys get these rewards on reputation. I mean, listen, if we're talking quarterback, you can't make an argument with it. But if we're talking over a player, I think Christian McCaffrey gets it ahead of him. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey's season. He's having an all-time season right now. I mean,
You're right.
He's got.
But they're not going to give it to a running back, so we got to stop. You got to delete that from your memory. And by the way, if they were giving it to a skill position player, I wouldn't give it to Christian McCaffrey.
Who would you give it to over him?
Tyreek Hill.
That's a conversation you can have too.
2,000 yards.
So who's the last running back to win MVP?
Who's the last non-quarterback?
Running back.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Adrian Peterson.
Peterson?
Yeah, the year he came off. It's got to be 2012, right?
Yes. Yes, it's 2012.
Yep, 2012. Look at that, dude. I'm a stud. I'm an absolute stud finder.
So
I got a fun one for you. Can you name me 2 more MVPs that weren't quarterbacks? It happened 5 more times.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I mean, Marshall Faulk was the one I was thinking of as the comparison to Christian McCaffrey.
Marshall Faulk was the MVP in 2000. Give me 2 more.
And if you look at the stats, I
2
had
more.
that up. 2000, you said, right? Oh, I mean,
1990.
Since 1990.
Since 1990, there's been 5 players to an MVP that aren't quarterbacks.
The easiest ones to pick out are the 2,000-yard running backs. So you got Terrell Davis had to be one of them.
Terrell Davis in 1998 is correct. You get 1 more.
Oh, we need to pick one more.
I mean, another 2,000-yard quarterback. I think it was Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson is incorrect.
I was about to say
LaDainian Tomlinson. It had to be LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson 2006 is correct. Sean Alexander 2005, and then the other one is Barry Sanders 97 and Emmitt Smith 93.
All right, so I'll just bring this up real quick. 2000 Marshall Faulk, 1,300 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. Okay. 81 catches, right? He had 830 yards and 8 touchdowns.
So 2,100 yards and how many touchdowns? How many receiving touchdowns do you have?
8.
So he had 26 touchdowns and 2,200 yards.
Yeah, so far Christian McCaffrey, 1,000 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns.
Okay.
5 receiving touchdowns, and I believe 429.
So 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns.
So he's got
17 touchdowns. Sorry, bad math.
Yeah, about 15, slightly under 1,500 and 17 touchdowns. With how many games left? We got 5 games left.
It's possible.
You can approach those numbers. I mean, you have to have a season like that to win it outside of quarterback. I can't sit here and say Christian, Tyreek Hill, you can make an argument.
I get it, but I'm gonna make a point for you, right? The reason the quarterback is the most valuable position on the football field is did you think the San Francisco 49ers would win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo? No, the answer is no.
No.
That's it. Period. By the way, Tyreek Hill, unbelievable season last year, unbelievable season this year. How'd they look when Tua went out last year?
They didn't look great.
Thompson? Yeah.
Period. They didn't look great. Yeah. All right, we got to move forward. We got a lot to get into games-wise. I do have a question for you guys, both of you guys, before we head into the previews of this week's games. Who is the best team in the AFC? I'll start there.
There's the question of the hour. I would probably.
I think my man Danny would say fins up.
You said NFC?
AFC. Best team in the AFC.
It's a tough. I mean, the AFC, man, it's completely wide open. I mean, it's not playing. It's not. I feel like the AFC isn't as strong as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, 'cause all their quarterbacks
injuries.
are hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, obviously Rodgers hurt, Burrow hurt, Lawrence is now hurt. Josh Allen's like 4-7. I'm kidding, but
I mean, I gotta go with. This is a tough one too because I don't want to. Tariq's having a great season. I gotta go with the Ravens, man. I really do.
okay.
Their points against is 187, net points 137. Defense is playing well. I don't know if Lamar is playing as well as some people want you to think he's playing, but they're winning football games, and I think that's the team to beat in the AFC right now. I don't think there's any way around that. I would go Dolphins as a close second, but the Chiefs maybe 3. But look at the Chiefs last week. I mean, the Chiefs aren't as good as people think they are. They people a lot of times want to rate teams and players off a reputation of the past. You see it in a lot of sports, especially, football and college football, but, pro football, you're looking at, if you watch that Sunday night football game, Packers play better. They play good. They're sticking with their quarterback. They coach, and Jordan Love looked better. I still don't like the way he kind of flutters balls out there, but that's another story. But, Travis Kelce he's starting to be in the twilight of his career. He's not as good as he once was. People don't want to believe that, but it's true. He's got a bunch of guys out there. And what
You're saying a lot of words. Is the Ravens your answer?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of words. I need an answer. Ravens,
100%.
Kyle, who's the MVP? Who's the best team in the AFC?
I'd probably go Dolphins, but I do agree that the Ravens are right up there. This is the Ravens' chance to break through.
The answer is the Ravens.
Yeah.
And the reason the answer is the Ravens is for 2 players, and neither are named Lamar Jackson. Lamar's playing good.
Queen and Roquan Smith and Hamilton.
That is correct. Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith are the best 2 players at their position in the NFL. Don't miss me with that Fred Warner. Miss me with that Justin Simmons. Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton are the best 2 players at their position in football. They've been absolutely unbelievable. And what Kyle Hamilton brings to the back half of that Ravens defense is something we haven't seen since the legendary Ed Reed.
That's why.
That's how good he is.
I think people, after the Niners beat the Eagles, they're like, oh, they're definitely getting the number 1 seed. And I'm like, so they're just going to run the table and beat the Ravens? That's what's going to happen? It makes me laugh because I'm like, so you think they're just going to boat race the Ravens? Like, that's a tough defense. They got studs on that defense. They got depth on that defense. I'm not even just talking about the 2 guys you named. You mean you got Jadeveon Clowney playing? That's a depth piece. It's not a guy they're depending on solely. The kid from Michigan, I can't say his name right. That was injured last year.
David
Njoku. Yeah, they got a lot of depth on that defense, and they're playing good ball. I mean, listen, I know the Chargers have not been playing great, but they completely shut them down when they played.
So did the Patriots. So did the Patriots.
That's true, but Patriots don't have a bad defense. They just can't score any damn points.
So. I'm kidding. I just wanted to use that as a.
But it's the Ravens. I mean, they're the best team in the AFC. And I know they have a 9-3 record, but I'm not going by that. I'm going by what I see on the field. And I just feel like they're playing more consistent football than most people in the league, at least the AFC. If we're talking AFC, have to be.
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, Ajabo is out for the season. He's been out for a couple weeks now. He had surgery on his torn pec. But who's the best team in the NFC? The best team in the NFC.
I think you got to go with the Niners right now.
That is correct. You cannot do. I don't want to hear the Eagle stuff. I don't want to hear it.
No,
I'm okay with being the underdog. Put the masks back on.
Yeah, they're definitely not. They're not the best team right now.
Are we seeing a 49ers Ravens Super Bowl?
No, I
don't know.
Get stopped on their way.
What team do you think is more likely not to make
it? It's a tough one. Playoffs are a different animal, and people, hence your MVP is a regular season award. Okay.
I had no idea. Thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think either team makes it to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But that
Who's Godfrey's Super Bowl prediction right now?
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's this point in the season where it's the witching hour, man. There's just so many things that are going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Bro, I cannot get through a segment. Give me a prediction.
I mean, if I got to eliminate those two teams from the
AFC, give me anybody you want.
Yeah, I could see. I hate having to make this pick because
God, give me a prediction for a Super Bowl. Godfrey's just forgetting we have a 1 hour time.
Today, if I had to make a bet, I'd probably go Ravens Eagles.
Okay. Godfrey, you ready?
That's where I'm pretty much at too, Ravens Eagles.
Okay. All right, let's get into some breakdowns. Tonight we have a barn burner. The over-under is 30 points. The New England Patriots are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no Mac Jones. There's no Kenny Pickett. We are going to get Mitch Trubisky versus Bailey Zappi.
Let's go.
The Patriots are the only team in NFL history to allow less than 40 points and be 0-4. It's never happened before.
Season of first, yeah.
Who do you like tonight? Steelers, Patriots. Give me a score prediction. Kyle, you'd be the resident Patriots fan. Do you think Mitchell Trubisky can beat the Patriots tonight?
I feel like I remember Trubisky having like a decent game or two against Belichick defenses when he was in Buffalo or something. The Patriots can stop the run. Steelers like to run. That's the Patriots' best bet at winning this game. I'm gonna go crazy. I'll say Bailey Zappi and the Patriots 16-13.
So you have the under 30.
Yeah.
Patriots winning a game under 30. Godfrey.
Oh, man, I 30 is such a low total. I feel like people are flirting with death with it just takes a couple special teams plays here or there. I think the Patriots are going to win. Did anybody? I know it was hard to watch that game last week. But did anybody watch the game against the Cardinals last week? It was delayed a couple of times. I just don't think there's any symmetry there. And then with Trubisky and her, I guess he got a week of practice. He says he's going to be aggressive. I don't think the Patriots are going to give up many points to these guys. I don't see them allowing a touchdown to the Steelers. And I see the Patriots being able to run on the Steelers, which you can. James Conner ate them for lunch last week. See Ramondre Stevenson having a night. I'm going to go with the Patriots here. Give me the plus 5.5.
Isn't Ramondre Stevenson out for the year?
Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter who they're running.
I think it's like questionable or something. But Zeke has looked good running well.
I think Zeke's starting tonight.
Yeah, he probably
doesn't matter who's back there. You can run on them. I just TJ Watt is a great defender, but he can't play every position on the field at once. And you can pass on them, but they can't really do that.
Wait till you hear this one. Steelers 23, Patriots 20. Take
over.
the over.
Oh, you got the over. Okay.
I
like the over. I like the over.
I would love to see that game. Yeah.
23-20.
They're trying to draw people in with that under.
A good football game. I'll give you my same game parlay before we move on for tonight. I have the Steelers money line. I have I got voided because Devontae Parker's out. I tried sneaking that one in there. The under for Zeke rushing, the over 16.5 for Jaylen Warren receiving, the over 180 for Mitch Trubisky passing, the over 154 for Bailey Zappi.
Can you bet interception, like a straight interception throw?
You can.
By the way, can we give an honorable mention to my guy Jake Browning just going out there and just.
Bro, what did I watch? It was Jake Browning or Joe Montana. That guy was incredible.
That was a good game. I mean, I did not.
You can't say anything. Sunshine played great.
Yeah, he got hurt. But Jake Browning seemed decisive. I thought he was getting rid of the ball pretty quick when he came in for relief when Joe Burrow got hurt. I didn't.
Bombing through to Jamar Chase was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could win some games down the stretch.
I
They
hope
might,
not.
put it, they might put a sneak in the 7th seed. I mean, be careful. They're not. They didn't go out there like they were going to lie down and play for dead.
Yeah.
They could have, and no one would have blamed them.
We got to get into Sunday's action. We're running up against it. There's not a lot of great football games this week, but we do have playoff implications in a lot of them. Jacksonville Jaguars taking backup quarterback. It looks like now Trevor Lawrence did practice today, but taking backup quarterback CJ Beathard into Cleveland to play third string quarterback PJ Walker, Dorian Thompson Robinson, Joe Flacco. Did Cleveland name a starter this week?
I don't think so.
Can they just do like Captain Planet and combine all three?
I think the Browns are starting Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's where I'm
He
going.
actually didn't look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually double checking it right now. I should have been prepared. I apologize.
I mean, listen, that would make sense. Why are you going to bring him in, start him one game, and say, you know what, that's not that? You know, I mean, the Browns have a running game already by themselves. They need a guy that can distribute the ball and make them respect the pass.
Joe Flacco set for his second start. Who do you like in this one? Backup versus backup. I don't feel bad for Jacksonville. If Trevor Lawrence can't play, I don't feel bad. Cleveland's running on their third string quarterback. Maybe their fourth string quarterback. Their backup running back. I don't feel bad. I still take Jacksonville. My man Doug EP can do some crazy things with some backup quarterbacks, a la Nick Foles, little cheap plug. I'll take the Jaguars to win this football game and beat up a pretty beat up Browns team.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns if it's CJ Beathard playing. I mean, unless you know, he could do an exorcism for CJ Beathard and get the crappy quarterback play out of that's in his soul. I don't see him going into Cleveland, and you know they are hurting, but they're still a very stout defensive team. I don't see him surviving that. Cincinnati's not a stout defensive team at all. He's not going to be able to move the ball at will against them, and he moved the ball pretty well. You know, you're not going to see Parker Washington going off on the Browns. Not going to happen. They're also good. Christian Kirk, is he playing this week? He was hurt pretty badly. I'm going to assume he's not. Haven't checked his update. So
I don't know, but I know Trevor Lawrence did return to practice. So listed as questionable and a limited participant.
Christian Kirk is out.
That injury seemed a lot worse than it was, I think, because the spike going into him, the way he went down and the noise that came out. It looked bad, but I just think the sound effects of it made it seem a lot worse than it was, and him being back at practice today proves that.
Okay. Well, we got a primetime game. Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers. San Fran coming off their blowout win, gets to go home, play a Seattle team who's lost, 4 in a row. This should be a blowout, right?
Yeah, I don't see how San Fran loses it. I
don't either.
I don't see how they lose that. I mean, they're a 10.5 point favorite. I mean, I don't know if I like the 10.5 points, but I do like San Fran to win. I mean, at home, feeling victorious. I don't think the Seahawks have enough to match up with them.
10 days rest versus 7. I'll take the points. Give me Seattle.
Okay.
Like
to win or just the points?
I don't think they're going to win the football game, but I think the game will be close. I'll take Seattle plus the points.
Yeah.
All right. We got next on the docket. We got one of the games of the week. There's 2 of them. This one, before the season started, you would think this would be the game of the week. Got the Buffalo Bills coming off a bye week, coming off Von Miller, doing a lot of weird stuff. Going into Kansas City, coming off a loss at Lambeau. It's going to be a good football game. I think it'll be a lot of fireworks. Joe Brady and Josh Allen have looked great together. I think Buffalo keeps this one close. Who do you think wins the football game? I'll start with you, Kyle.
I do think Buffalo keeps it close. I think we kind of have a Niners Eagles situation where the Bills are going to want to redeem themselves from that playoff loss a couple of years ago, and the Chiefs are there for the picking. But it's I don't know, Josh Allen and Arrowhead. You know what? I'll go with the Bills. I feel like it's kind of set up for Buffalo off the bye to put together a good performance against this Chiefs team and get a close win.
Here's what I need to hear you say.
Okay.
I know you're a Patriots fan.
Yes.
And whenever you pick the Buffalo Bills in a big game, you got to say nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Are you going to say it on air?
I mean, is that even relevant this year though? Because they haven't done that. I would say that if they were having a good year, but yeah, this year they don't deserve it.
They win. Will you say it next week?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I would never say anything Dallas Cowboy like. Do you see the difference between our fandom, between me and Kyle? Kyle's way nicer than I am. I got the Chiefs in this one. Give me Andy Reid off a loss. Give me Patrick Mahomes when the chips are stacked against them. I think this is the easiest game on the board this week, guys. To be honest with you, I love the Chiefs in this football game. I think the Buffalo Bills are reeling. I think Sean McDermott's making comments about 9/11 and how they – did you hear that, Kyle? Is that for real? He compared coming together. Guys, that's got to be the biggest buffoon comment of all time. He compared coming together as a football team as the terrorists came together on 9/11. And then asked the team, how do you think that they came together as a group? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, this is such a tough game to pick, but I'm going to go with the Bills. And the Bills are reeling. The Chiefs are reeling in a different way. I saw a lot of whining and complaining, and they weren't getting the calls that they normally get. They get a lot of calls for whatever reason. We see it in sports all the time. Jordan gets calls. Whatever. It is what it is. Part of the game. But they were whining and complaining, talking about refs. They haven't played up to par. The Chiefs aren't going to be the number one seed this year in AFC, folks. That's over. That party's over. This is not the best Chiefs team you've seen. I don't think the Chiefs make the Super Bowl this year, and I don't think they're that team where they're like, oh man, they're gonna get up and they're gonna come up. I think the Bills are gonna beat them. I think they'll push that noise out. You got the Von Miller stuff, which is awful, and then you got. I mean, I wish I was able to look at this game before that Sean McDermott thing. Gene dropped me on that right before our show. Before this, I'm like, Jesus, but. With all that being said, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills here. I just they don't have what it takes to beat the Bills, and I think that there's nothing on that, even with the injuries with the Bills, there's nothing on that Chiefs defense that's really scaring them. Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be able to do it all by himself.
Apparently, the comments were made in 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just came out 2 hours ago, though.
Oh, so that someone's trying to get someone's job. That was leaked on purpose.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. 2019.
Look, I don't care. I think those comments are
still weird. Yeah,
they are wild, but
weird. How did they come together as terrorists?
It is wild, but like the fact that was leaked, like that's why I asked how'd that get out, because that was put out 2019. That was put out on purpose. So unless like an equipment guy got fired for a crappy reason, and he's like,
sorry, during a 2021 team meeting.
Still,
yeah.
Wild. I'm still going with the Bills.
ESPN says coach apologized for 9/11 remarks in 2019. Though maybe he said them again. Maybe there's more 9/11 remarks. I got to read the whole story. I'm still going with the Chiefs in this one. We got 2 Monday Night Football games again. They're both terrible. But I got to talk about them because they're primetime football games. The Tennessee Titans, and they're playing same time. There's no like alternate flip, like where you can get one during halftime. The Tennessee Titans are playing at the Miami Dolphins, and the Green Bay Packers are playing at the New York Giants. Which big underdog has a better chance of winning?
I'm sorry, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Yeah.
That's what they're giving us. I don't know what's worse, seeing this football game tonight or watching those two together on Monday night. Got friggin' Tommy DeVito on Monday Night Football. You got to be kidding me.
I'm going to give, if I have to pick the better chance of upset, I'm going to give Tommy Cutlets the better chance. then I'm going to give the Titans over the Dolphins. Give me Tommy Cutlets for the upset.
Jesus, I think both favorites win those games.
I do too, but you asked me to pick a goddamn underdog, and that's what I'm trying to do here, right?
I think Tommy DeVito's got the better chance to beating the Packers in New York than Will Levis does of beating the Dolphins in Miami.
Every soprano watching North Philly and Italian has such a hard on right now because Tommy DeVito is an Italian. He's like, he's got to win with the cutlets. His mom's going to he's going to get like a Donovan McNabb style, like a ragu commercial, or, a sauce commercial before the game. I swear, before he's not the quarterback anymore.
Tommy. Oh man, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is terrible football games. Guys, the main event of the evening, once again. Sunday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles, once again, in the game of the week. We're going to travel to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Someone tagged a Cowboys fan in the comments. I would love for you to come on the show and tell me how the Cowboys are. I can't listen to Skip Bayless anymore. The Philadelphia Eagles are lucky. They are lucky, and we are the better team. And shut up, clown. Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Divisional spot. Kyle, tell us who takes home the breadcrumbs.
I'm going to go with the Eagles because I thought between the Niners and the Cowboys, they'd lose one. They lost the Niners game. I'm assuming they're going to be locked in for the Cowboys. It's not to say the Cowboys don't have a chance. The Cowboys are playing well. They're doing their normal thing. Good regular season. Let's see when the playoffs come around. The Eagles, you could say, maybe reeling a little bit, whether it's defense or offensive identity, whatever. But I think this is the opponent at the right time to get maybe the best out of them. And I think they pull it off and get the win over the Cowboys in Jerryland to kind of quiet some of the little murmurs around the team.
Yeah, Godfrey.
Gene, when's the last time the Eagles lost 2 in a row?
2021.
If you asked me at the beginning of the season, I would say the Eagles split with the Cowboys. If they're coming off a win,
Eagles lost 2 in a row last year.
They did?
Yeah, they lost to the Cowboys and the Saints in back-to-back weeks.
Okay, so
with Gardner
Minshew. Okay, maybe I meant to say with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. So, with that being said, listen, if the Eagles won last week, I'd probably pick them to lose to the Cowboys this week. But it's reversed, so I'm going to go with the Eagles. Yes, I'm wearing an Eagle shirt. Fuck you. Listen, at the end of the day, I have my reasons for it. Cowboys, I just think they have a hole in the middle of their defense. We got Shaq Leonard. They didn't win the sweepstakes. I think we're going to make some adjustments. Eagles have strong veteran leadership on that team, and I think they're going to come out on top and win this game. And I just, 31-28 is where I see it, 31-27, something like that. And I think the Eagles win because they're going to exploit that hole in the middle defense. Van Rash is an important part of that defense, and you can expose Bland. I know he's got the pick sixes, but Geno Smith and DK Metcalf ate them up last week. I mean, if you watch that game, I was saying on Birds Deep, if you told me that they were score 70 points total, I would have said, you're lying. I want to see documented that you said that. After the fact, no one thought that game was going to be that high scoring. No one thought 70 points. And, they're supposed to be a vaunted Cowboys defense, but I like to think the Eagles have a better offense than the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just going, with Lane Johnson healthy, they're going to regroup. You got Johnson, Graham, Kelsey. I don't see Eagles losing this one.
I think the Philadelphia Eagles win the football game. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to remember that it is December, and in December and January, they crack under pressure. I think Rain Dakota throws a couple interceptions in this one, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this one 28-27. It's a very, very good football game. And I predict that on Monday night or on Monday morning, you're going to hear, The Eagles got lucky again.
Yeah.
I do a terrible Skip Bayless, but I will say this. He has to be the most annoying person in all sports.
Him and Stephen A are like neck and neck.
I would Stephen A, big greater sign. I don't like Stephen A that much, but I would take him over Skip 100 times over 100. I can't stand Skip. No matter what, he'll say anything to fit his narrative.
Yeah, I that's why I can't stand him. I hate disingenuous sports talk. I hate it. And he is, to me, the father of that. Like, and that's why I can't, if I see him on the TV, I change the channel. I'll be like, oh, the Antique Roadshow's on? Next channel. Like, it can be anything. Oh, fried green tomatoes? No problem. Yaya's traveling pants. Yeah, let's watch that instead of sports. If Skip Bayless is on there, I'll watch anything. Paint dry on the wall? I'll take that over Skip Bayless. Thanks.
It's fair. Guys, we wrapped up all the games for this week. We have some time. I really won it this time. Like, I was extremely happy for the extra time because I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about playoff seeding. And as we look at the standings in the NFL, I'm going to break it down for you. Right now, the number one seed in the AFC is the Miami Dolphins. But look no further than a huge matchup they have with the Baltimore Ravens on New Year's Eve, 1 o'clock in Baltimore. Now, that matchup for Baltimore is especially tough because the Baltimore Ravens, their schedule does not get easier either. Now, next week they were supposed to travel to Jacksonville. We don't know if that game is going to be very important or not. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence can play. But the following week, they have to play at San Francisco. Then they come home to play the Dolphins and then end with the division rival Steelers. I ask these questions because of this specifically. Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs can cut? Now, I know Godfrey's answer. I thought it was going to be the Jaguars. I thought the Jaguars were the number one seed before Lawrence got hurt. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they win this week versus Buffalo. They play at the Patriots, win. They play at home versus the Raiders, win. They play at home versus the Joe Burrow-less Bengals, win. Could the Kansas City Chiefs sneak back in and steal the number one seed based on those schedules?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the weird thing with this season is that this is one of those years that the Chiefs may not have it all together, but because of the landscape of the AFC, they may not actually get penalized. I could see them going in as a 2 or 3 seed and getting through the playoffs with this group. We don't know what the Ravens are going to be like in the playoffs. We've seen them be a number one seed and lose early before. Who knows what the Dolphins are going to do in the playoffs? And then after that, you're looking at teams like Houston who might get in, the Colts, Steelers. I mean, the Chiefs would be the most battle-tested team going into it. Now, looking at that schedule, I think they do because I could see the Ravens slipping up one of those games down the stretch. And that would be crazy with all their problems that the Chiefs still end up as a number one seed.
Are they battle-tested, though? Are they? I mean...
Well, at the most important position, quarterback, yes.
You know where they're not battle-tested at? They lead the league in drops. They're not battle-tested at receiver.
That's true.
Okay. Their best receiver is, I think he's a talented ascending rookie, is Rashid Rice. They're just now starting to give him more targets. MVS, he can't catch a ball open or not. Doesn't matter. Sky Moore doesn't know how to run a route. He's like a ballerina on the field, turned around. Travis Kelce, I think he's getting a little long in the tooth. He's still a productive player. And I just think that this year, Patrick Mahomes was able to close the gap for them in other parts of the team where they had deficiencies and had that magic. And I don't think they have the recipes for the magic this year. I do not think they will win the number one seed. There's going to be a new number one seed in AFC this year. They're just believe your eyes. Believe your eyes. I'm seeing it on the field. I didn't think they were going to lose to the Packers last week. I did not think that. I watched that game and I'm like, wow, they're not playing well. And I said this comparison, and Gene will get this. They remind me of the 2003 Eagles. We had a young Donovan, no receivers.
I stole this, by the way. I've said this on multiple shows.
Yeah. So I mean,
stole it.
we yeah, and this is Andy Reid. Look at his little hands getting the nuggies. He's got more power now. He's got his hands on the roster. He's got a lot more influence. And I guarantee that's part of it. He's a great coach, all-time coach. Can draft great talent, not taking anything away from him. But he also has done stuff like draft a fireman in the first round. Okay, and that stuff will catch up for you. It's you see with Bill Belichick, 3 tight ends in a draft one year. I mean, come on. So the Chiefs aren't there this year. They got to make some adjustments, and it's too far in the season to do that. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't great last year, but he was there and he would make a play when they need it, right? And they don't have that guy right now. Rashid Rice is developing into that, but outside of that, man, it is unless they're going to run the ball 35, 40 times a game, which I don't see Andy Reid has nightmares about doing. I don't see how they can possibly win all the way through the playoffs and get the number 1 seed. I mean, they're losing game. Think of some of the losses they've had this year. You're like, what? Even the Raiders got up 14-0. They came back and they came back strong, but they don't have that kind of firepower anymore. Not right now, not this year.
So if it's not them, then who?
The number 1 seed?
Yes.
Got to go with the Ravens, man. Listen.
Got a tough schedule, man. They got to play at Frisco. They got to play at Jacksonville. They got to play home versus Miami.
Well, I just did a show with a Ravens fan who said, not really worried about the Niners.
I know who that was, but
that's delusional.
Yeah.
I hope he's off to bigger and better things still.
Yeah.
Well, I will say the Ravens need it more. The Ravens need the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but the problem is this. They got to play that game, and then the next game is basically for the number 1 seed the next week versus Miami. And you don't think that's going to be a trap game playing their San Fran a week before you play Miami at home?
Listen,
if it's terrible stretch.
If it's not Baltimore, I think it could definitely be the Dolphins. Okay. I don't have them as like the fallback. I mean, the Dolphins definitely can do it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I think that, if Trevor Lawrence comes back, I mean, the way things are playing out, the Jaguars still might sneak up in there as the number 1 seed. It's not impossible. And they don't have a lot of tough games left. They've had
They have the Ravens. That's it.
And they have the weirdest schedule of everybody. All their division games were played pretty much in the beginning of the year, right? For the Jags.
I think they have the Titans the last week of the season.
Maybe, but that's it. I don't think they have any other division games besides that left.
I'm just guessing. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, so I mean, I would go Ravens, Dolphins, Jags as far as people upsetting them as the number 1 seed. It's not a given this year like it has been. It's just not for the Chiefs.
Do the 49ers run the table?
It's possible. I think where their hiccup is I think the Ravens can beat them. I think the Ravens are built. I think the Ravens can be just as physical with the 49ers as the 49ers can be with them.
They play at home versus Seattle, at Arizona, at home versus Baltimore, at Washington, at home versus the Rams.
Rams is a wild card. They won't beat them, but they played them tough last time they played. I don't think they'll beat them, but it's tough. And, McVay, Kyle Shanahan is living in McVay's head rent-free for years. So, except for the Super Bowl year. But
you think the Eagles slip up again? At Dallas, at Seattle, home versus the Giants, home versus the Cardinals, at the Giants.
The only game where I see that's possible is the Dallas game, even though I'm picking them to win. I don't see them losing those other games. If you're a good team, this is the time of year closing out games. You know what I mean? You get one slip up, maybe two. Eagles have already had one slip up. They should have no business losing to the Jets. Imagine what this conversation is like if they actually, didn't lose to the Jets. You got even more of a lead. So, yeah, they could slip up. It's possible. I mean, they could lose to the Cowboys. It's not impossible.
Okay. Kyle, your thoughts on any of this?
Yeah, so, I mean, the AFC, I would agree. Probably the Dolphins. And the NFC, I think it's going to be tough for the Niners to run the table because I do think Baltimore's built a way to go into San Francisco and win. It's just how much do you trust Lamar in San Francisco against that defense? But if the Niners get past that, then, yeah, I think they probably win out. And like Godfrey said, for the Eagles, I think their toughest remaining game is this week against the Cowboys. If they get past that, like who do you see possibly stopping them? I don't, unless the issues that they have offensively are probably worse off than we even are giving it credit for. But yeah, I think they'll be fine.
I think their biggest issue is not offensively. I think it's defensively.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the defensive part has been kind of a issue all season. It seems like now
When they added Kevin Byard, they added Shaq Leonard. It's not the players, it's the friggin' scheme. Get the guy out of there. He stinks.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see Shaq Leonard's impact, once he gets in there. But like you said, if it is a scheme issue, I mean, just adding a player doesn't change the scheme.
You're right. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Get ready for tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a barn burner.
I think it could be an interesting defensive battle. I don't know.
I love you.
Tomlin versus Belichick. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll play off of that all night. Tomlin versus Belichick.
The only two notable names playing in tonight's game.
Yeah.
Tomlin and Belichick.
Yeah. It's pretty goddamn bad. I mean, they were right for flexing this game, were they not? No, I'm sorry. That was a different game. There's a different Patriots game that got flexed. The inflated Eagles.
Pats Chiefs game.
Yeah, they were right for flexing. I mean, listen, man, it's gonna be like it's gonna be 7 yards in a cloud of dust. So enjoy that. Get your popcorn ready. Don't worry about missing anything. You can all the great offense. You can just let the DVR get it and rewind it in like 10 minutes. You'll be all right.
Well, that's all we got for today. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That is the Prince of Production, Kyle Edwards. And my brother from another, D. Godfrey. We are signing out.